Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new update. I know it's been a few days since my last update, but I wanted to make sure I had a few things solidified before giving you another update on my plans moving forward. My first video that I released after my long break, or about a month break, was talking about a scalping strategy that I was considering using. And the ideas there are still very similar to how I want to approach the market. I mentioned it was very politically driven, and I want to be in and out of the market very quickly to minimize exposure over a longer period of time. And I found weaknesses in that strategy, and they were difficult to work with, and it required more testing and modification in order to make that strategy worthwhile. So I moved over into my IBAN's expert advisor, which is still fairly new, and did a lot of testing with that, and also very versatile and profitable EA. And found out that there were some weaknesses in that that could potentially give me some heartache during a politically driven market as we stand right now. So, backing up a little bit, you guys have known that I focus a lot on algorithm trading. I have built or have hired coders to build 98 expert advisors for me over the last about 4 years. Out of those 98 expert advisors, I only have four that show any long or potential for long-term success. I've used all these expert advisors on live accounts, and they all show really good results. And a lot of my losses that I've had over the last 4 years or so have been because of my manual intervention with these expert advisors. And so I have decided to take away any kind of manual intervention. Even if the market looks like it's going heavily against me, I'm going to let my algorithm take over and continue because manual intervention hasn't been really working out for me. So since I have these four successful expert advisors, and knowing that my manual intervention is not going to be on the table anymore, I have to be very picky and selective with the strategy that I use moving forward, and that's why I've been bouncing around so much. A lot of people look at that as negative. They're thinking, well, if you can't decide what strategy that you're using, that just doesn't mean that you're confident in any of them. That's not the case. I'm confident in all of them, but I also want to meet my short-term and long-term goals, and selecting the right expert advisor for that can be tricky, especially with an ever-changing market that's heavily focused on politics at the moment. Okay, so if you guys disagree with me on the politically driven market, just look at, just take Trump for example, and how he's uh, how much volatility he's putting in the stock market. For one, we just had a 500, 600 pip fall yesterday in the stock market. Look at what happened with the Canadian dollar when it came to the tariffs that were happening on steel and aluminum. And the NAFTA agreement, how Trump was trying to just get rid of NAFTA altogether, and how much volatility that was causing the market on the Canadian dollar side and on the US dollar. So those are just some examples for a politically driven market right now. And it's causing me to modify my strategies so I am in and out of the market very quickly. So I've moved back to my RMI strategy that I was using months ago. And I manually intervened about a month ago and actually ended up losing about 30% of my account for no good reason. And it's because I manually intervened and thought that the market was not looking like it was going to change, and it did. The expert advisor was right, it would have come out to profit. So I have modified that expert advisor. Now I'm having it take, instead of 50 pips take profit, it's going to be taking 3 pips profit on each trade. So that's basically turned it into a scalping, a scalping EA, and it runs still on the 30-minute time frame on the pound Canadian dollar. And I did the test with a 3 pips spread, so technically I'll be taking about 6 pips profit on each trade. And I didn't want to give an update to you guys until I was solidified on the strategy that I was using. So I have already started using this strategy on this account. I have no open trades at the moment, but the strategy is in use and it's running, and I feel like it's gonna meet my short-term and long-term goals in trading. Now this looks a little bit different, right? This says 328,293.46 bit. What the hell is bit? Well, a bit is basically like Bitcoin, and so you could say that this is 0.32 Bitcoin. So it's about roughly about $3,000, pretty close to it. And there's a calculator that you can use as well. And you can also see on my account that they also give me a small credit. So I have 426,781 bit. And if you just copy and paste that into this calculator, which you could do bit to USD.com, and actually I have to write it down. So 426,781 bits to USD. So you can see here that that's like 3,789. So that's also including the credit that they gave me as well. Um, so I have roughly about $1,000 bonus credit from FX Choice. Okay, so that's what I'm dealing with. I just don't want you to be confused by what this actually is in the numbers here. But it's roughly about $3,700 at the moment. So why have I moved to a Bitcoin account? So this is part of my short-term and long-term goals. And I wanted to find a broker that I was able to have a Bitcoin account and also trade normally as well. So um, I wanted to turn my investment in my trading strategy into an investment as well. And so I'm going to be investing in Bitcoin as well as trading a Bitcoin account. Um, I feel like Bitcoin is going to rise, and there's been a lot of rumor of it turning around. And if you go back to the day chart, there was a lot of talk going on in this area of Bitcoin. And I started recommending to friends and some family members that this was a decent time to get involved in the market. A lot of the negative press and the FUD that was going on about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency was starting to weaken in this area. And then we had this special candle that happened here that caused a bit of a breakout. And so I was holding some Bitcoin right in this area, right before the big push up. And now I'm sitting on roughly about a 30% gain since that time. So it's been great. And I have just put in more of Bitcoin right at about the 9,000 mark. And I know it's pretty volatile, and I'm okay with that. I'm planning on holding Bitcoin for a while, and if my trading account is in Bitcoin, then I plan to hold for quite a long time. Uh, I do see Bitcoin gradually increasing over time. I'm not going to give you any projections on where I see it in the next few months, but I do see it increasing this year from where it is now. And by December or January of 2019, I do expect it to be higher than it is now. I can't say much by much. Is it going to be 20,000? Is it going to be 30? Is it going to be less than that? I'm not going to give you any projection, but I do think it will be higher than where it is at 9,000 currently. All right, so Bitcoin is my long-term goals, and I expect that to increase. But it also, depending on if it moves a lot, it could be a short-term. It could hit a short-term target as well, where I could receive as much as 20% increase in a month with Bitcoin. And that's on top of the potential 10 to maybe 15% that I may be making just from my trading. So this could potentially turn into turn my trading into a 30, potentially 40% month. Uh, and I'm investing in two different areas by trading the market, the currency market, and also investing in Bitcoin. So I feel like that's expanding my portfolio a little bit, and that's why I like this idea of trading a Bitcoin account, even though it could cause more volatility on my account, where if Bitcoin falls quite a bit from where it is now, it could hurt. But that's the risk that I'm willing to take at this point, and I do feel like holding Bitcoin is something that could have a lot of value down the road. All right, so everything is set. I'm using my RMI inside candle strategy. It does take quite a few trades, and most of them are in and out of the market very quickly, but some will linger. And I'll give you guys updates on the profit that's made, the risk. I'll go into more details of what the strategy incorporates, if it's how big the stop loss is, um, take profit levels, basket trading, risk size, all that kind of stuff. I'll talk about in the upcoming videos that I'll be making. All right, so that's it for now. If you guys have any questions, please leave it in the comments. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on if you like this video or not. And I'm ready to go. I'm starting today on my trading, and we'll see what happens for the next few days of the week and see if I can get some profit. And it's time to scalp. Let's do it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.